what has happened to the mental system that it does not stick or stay with the fact. It keeps throwing up what ifs and how about and how come and all that kind of things instead of just simply sitting with the fact. It's the same vicious cycle of, oh, but if I had done it that way, then this could have gone that way. That multiplied by 10,000 is anxiety. Same situation at a intensity of maybe 30, 40, 50 is nervousness. That same situation leading you to non-action. I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to withdraw from this is depression. Hello and welcome to Whose Race Are You Running? My name is Sia and I'm here to talk about you. There is a very big presentation to be had tomorrow. There's a lot of preparation to be done, which is all done. And now you're 15 minutes prior to the meeting or to the presentation. And now there's an experience going on in the body of how that meeting is going to go. There's a lot of things going on in that. The fact in that situation is there is a person who's going to go out there, meet a bunch of people, and do a certain thing. That is the only fact, right? The fact is in conflict with the ideas. The ideas of if I do it this way, it will be good. If I do it that way, it will be good. I am this kind of a person, so I should portray myself this way. That person is that kind of a person. This person is this kind of a person, and therefore I should be like this. Those are all the ideas that you have about that situation. What has happened to the mental system that it does not stick or stay with the fact. It keeps throwing up what ifs and how about and how come and all that kind of things instead of just simply sitting with the fact. So, how that meeting goes, how you perform in that meeting, how that meeting goes, so we cannot do anything about, but how you perform in that meeting is eventually driven by how all these conflicting situations, outcome plus self image plus self ideas, and all of that, plus the reactions of the other people, how you're able to, how our mental system is able to process that, that drives our action. That is how we act. And what is it that we all always have a problem with? Why do we get mentally unhealthy? It's because eventually the way the action comes out and therefore the consequences of those situations do not um, do us any good. And then it's the same vicious cycle of, oh, but if I had done it that way, then this could have gone that way, right? That multiplied by 10,000 is anxiety. That same situation at a intensity of maybe 30, 40, 50 is nervousness. That same situation leading you to non-action. I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to withdraw from this is depression. So it is the our daily mental experiences only that when it gets amped up becomes anxiety. When it goes absolutely down becomes depression. This is mental health, right? So let's look at this conflict between ideals and the facts. Okay. Now we're going to again use the word facts, but you have to, or we have to really go into what the fact is for us. Okay. For this conversation to really have some fruit, just go beyond the words that I am throwing out to what your fact is, because everyone's fact is different. Okay. Everyone has made a fact about themselves. So, for example, I am Sia. I look like this. I behave like this. These are my qualities. The whole sum of everything that I have told myself about me is my fact of me. Okay. I'll be different for you, that'll be different for the next person. Now, whatever my fact is, I am like this, I behave this way, creates its own opposite, okay, depending on whatever we have received from the world. If I tell that I am Sia and I'm a lazy person, okay, the moment I put a pin on it, there is the ideal of that, the opposite of that, that there is non lazy people. There are whatever, more people with much, much more functionality and much, much more activity. Okay. So the moment I put a pin on me as lazy, the ideal automatically appears. Okay. And this conflict between what I am or what is my fact and the ideal that I have that I either look up to or I think is better or I think is, more appealing to other people, this conflict is what creates our general experience of fear. Because nobody wants to be perceived badly. Inherently, obviously, nobody wants to be perceived badly, no matter the situation. Okay. So the fact that I am a lazy person is in my memory. It's not, in that plant there. It's not in my arm here. Or it's a memory piece in my brain. Okay. Now, when I say I'm lazy, what do I mean? Go beyond the word. Go to what the experience of lazy is that you have pinned yourself on. Now, don't say the word lazy and try and see what the experience of lazy is. And you'll realize it's nothing. So, you have taken an external, the fact that you do not do enough activity, you've taken an external thing, put that as a quality that defines you. Now that you have made a definition of you, the ideal will automatically appear. If you take that definition out from you, then there is nothing as lazy and not lazy. That is just one example, one quality, one thing. We have done this across everything. I'm a sensitive person, I'm a kind person, I'm not so kind person. We have put many, 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 many pins and created a structure by which we run our lives. The moment we create a structure, what is the structure and what is not the structure becomes two different things. This is human mental conditioning. We can't get over the conditioning. We can unpack the conditioning. So now let's go further within and examine and really see these facts that we call ourselves. Do they hold without an opposite? If you find that they hold, then you need to be able to point at it and say this particular thing. It's only a bag of qualities. It's always a bag of qualities. It's never anything tangible. It is never anything that you can put a pin at. What I'm seriously asking is go beyond all these words and try and put a pin on something that is you, that is separate from your memories. Is there anything like that? Is there such a thing? Because if there isn't, then can the fearful memory do anything about itself? Because then what is there to act on that memory? If there is nothing to act on that memory, if you understand this, if you can see it, actually see it in your own mental processes, actually experience it, then what acts, what can act on that memory? Nothing. Then the entire mental conflict that we have, oh, I should be this way, I should be that way, I need to do something about this, I need to do something about that. That whole process will come to a full stop the moment you realize that everything that you are telling is you is actually memory. Because now there's nothing else that can act on that memory. The memory itself is not the problem. The division between the memory and me, that's the problem. I can do something on a memory. The memory cannot have power over me. This division is the problem. That is where the conflict is. That is the breeding ground for fear. Is there a next moment that actually comes about? You can think about it, but can you actually exist any other where, any other time? You cannot, you can think about breathing 10 minutes later, but you cannot be breathing 10 minutes later right now.